It is in the name of the Most High. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a topic that, I was going to discuss, but let's start with today. We go to the polls. I've done it before. I've done it earlier, I should say. It was a pleasure to go vote in Dade County. See, this type of behavior that I see in these rural places and these states of people showing up to drop boot the ballot boxes with guns. It's like Malcolm X says, bullets or ballots, huh? It was a pleasure to vote here. That being said, I don't know if my vote makes a difference, to tell you the truth. But I did it because I have to respect the sacrifices to allow me to do this. I don't take it lightly. I am an independent from day one. I don't like both parties, but I especially abhor the Republicans, mainly because I'm a black man. I am not a masochist. The racist rhetoric that comes out of that party, how I, as a black man, could go vote Republican. Am I a masochist? No. Well, by all means, folks, go exercise your right. It's just like the Second Amendment. You have the right, one man, one vote. Go do it. That being said, let's deal with the conflict we see between Russia and Ukraine. Okay? There's a scripture that says that the Elohim says he's going to raise up, he's going to stir up, I should say, the Medes and the Persians. Okay? To me, as I look at this prophecy, I think the correct translation is probably raise up instead of stir up. Because what I see, Putin with his ambitions, he's grinding the Russian people, the economy, the country into the ground. Think about it. After all the atrocities committed, the destructions, the death, how would Putin come back to the table and negotiate for betterment of his people? It's not going to happen. So I think people going to, the rest of the world will think that they have crushed Russia, but the Elohim has work for Russia to do. The same thing with Iran. Look at all these years of sanctions and whatever. They haven't gone anywhere. Now, because of that, Iran is driven into the hands of Russia. They are becoming the team that the Elohim says they're supposed to be. Okay? You guys not paying attention to that. He says he's going to stir up the Medes and the Persians. The Medes are the Russians. Right? You know who the Persians are. No, most of you don't. You think Iran is Arab. No, they're not. They're Persians. Different people. But the scripture says that those two will come together and the Elohim is going to use them to clean out Jerusalem. Which, looking at the history, makes sense. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Great Schism. The church split, the Byzantine Empire, the church split 1054, and they haven't really reconciled that difference. Okay, it's called the Great Schism. They have a number of issues why they split, but they're split. Okay, so now, most recently, the Pope was trying to mend that relationship because he is familiar with prophecy also. He was trying to mend that relationship, and he was rebuffed. You know why he was rebuffed? Because it's not meant to be. Those people they're going to be used by the Elohim to march on Jerusalem to clean it out. Because what you folks don't know is that, yes, Donald Trump was used to make Jerusalem the capital of Israel. He's used and discarded. He thinks he's still relevant, but he's not. His job is over. Now, what it is they're waiting on is that heifer. They're waiting on that red heifer to build that third temple. When that third temple goes up, it is predicted that the Pope is going to be invited there, because it's still going to have conflict there between the Palestinians and whatever, to bring peace. And he's going to go sit up in that temple, and they said he's going to install himself as God, and there's nothing those people could do about it. Hence, the Elohim is going to use the Russians, the Iranians, and all the acolytes to clean out Jerusalem. This is prophecy. This is not coming from my words. What I could glean from this is that I sincerely believe that the Pope is going to have Jewish ancestry. Why do I say that? Because the same thing that was said about the Jews going to a foreign land and praying to wood and stone that their fathers, praying to gods that their fathers never recognized. In Daniel, it's written that this Pope is going to do the same thing. It says that he is going to, don't recognize the God of his fathers. So that is pointing that the Pope could have Jewish ancestry. He probably could be black. Do you know that, which is probably far-fetched, but it has a little correlation there. The arrangements of the atoms of melanin, it boils down to 666, 6 carbon, 6, whatever. The valence shell of melanin boils down to 666. The racist was using this to say that black people are of the devil. But it points also, the scripture says 666 is the title. It's the title of a man. Vicarious filii. So, but some of these people, the racists, might have a point, because when you read the scripture, it points to an Israelite Pope, which makes sense too. How else would they allow him without a fight into that temple? Makes sense. But this is what's happening while you go to the polls. Scripture has been fulfilled. You see, they don't teach you this in your Sunday churches. This is the reason why I stop, listen to T.D. Jakes and all the rest of clowns out there. From the time you go to a Sunday church, you're off into the broad road already. People, that's not according to scripture. That's a lesson for another day. But I'm trying to tell you, pay attention to the signs. It was said that the Russians and the Persians would be one. So it doesn't matter what you do, you wouldn't be able to crush Iran, you wouldn't be able to crush Russia, because the Elohim has work for them to do. And it makes sense, because the Antichrist comes out of the papacy, okay? And because the Russian Orthodox Church have a long-standing beef with Rome, it'll be nothing for them to gather themselves and march on Jerusalem. Do you see that Russian Orthodox priest blessing the Russian soldiers? Pay attention, folks. He's blessing the Russian soldiers to go into Ukraine to kill the Ukrainians. Pay attention. It's the same thing's going to happen when Russia is called with the Persians and their acolytes to march on Jerusalem. He's going to be dispelling the same blessings. You guys are not paying attention. Pay attention. Okay? You guys are talking about, it's the end time, and not yet. The true gospel has to be spread first. They have to find that 2-year-old heifer and burn it and bathe in his ashes so that they could enter that third temple. Now, when you see that third temple has been erected, This is where we have to be wary that the end is nigh. So by all means, folks, vote. Vote. But it's all about power. With all of Herschel Walker's misgivings and whatever, you have prominent Republicans saying, I don't care about abortion, I don't care, just win the Senate. It's all about power. They stand for nothing. They have their leader. Do you notice that they don't talk about family values anymore? Because Donald Trump was caught raw dogging a porn star. While he was married, the church will ridicule the gay lifestyle, but nothing about Donald Trump's infidelity. That is hypocrisy, you call that. The Elohim pointed out between the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Nothing different. So vote. But as you vote, prophecy is being fulfilled around us. You see the trouble that Kanye West and Kyrie Irving got themselves into? That is prophecy. The dry bones is going to live again. People going to try to stop it. It ain't going to happen. It's all prophecy. You building that third temple is prophecy. The dry bones, people like me rising up and knowing their culture, recognizing their God. It's going to happen. That God that died on that cross, that was born on December 25th. He died on the cross, but he wasn't born on December 20th. That's not my God. I pray to the one of Isaac, Jacob, and Abraham. I don't pray to some European God, made up God. I know the truth. And this is what the Elohim says. The dry bones is going to live again. Kyrie Irving, Kanye West are hitting on the truth. They're using the wrong material. Use the Torah to prove your point. That being said, be blessed. You can't stop the time.